Hello everyone, welcome back to Naomi's Bookshelf. Today we're going to talk about a TBR for readathons. So there are two readathons happening between the end of July and the beginning or middle of August that I really want to partake in. They are both either really fun or really important, and I really want to share the awareness of at least one of them and also just share the fun of the other. So the first one that is really fun is the Olympicsathon. It's really low key in terms of prompts, but it is a tracker of pages, and I will link both hosts down below of who they are. However, the second one is a blog, so I'll link that blog post down below. And the second one is Chronically Bookish, which is a readathon that is all about chronically ill or chronic pain, and it also is about neurodiverse. So it is great, and I am so excited for how inclusive it is. So we're gonna go over the prompts and what I'm gonna be reading for that. So the Olympicsathon is running from the 21st all the way to the 8th. And I know I'm posting this in the middle of it, but I've already read a couple books for it, which I'll talk about. And then the other one, Chronically Bookish, is from the 22nd all the way to the 19th of August. But you have lots of time to join in and read something for those prompts as well if you would like to participate. So let's get into the books I plan on reading on the bingo card, at least for Chronically Bookish. So as you can see from the Chronically Bookish bingo card, there are 25 spots. However, not all of them are reading prompts. Most of them actually aren't, and it's really interesting how a lot of them are based on your own interpretation. And as they actually say in the blog post, if you physically can't read, that's great. Just read what you can, listen to an audiobook or a podcast, totally counts for the reading prompts, or watching a TV show counts for the reading prompts. Whatever you want counts, just be included in this. It's great. They have the hashtag, which I think is the Spoonies Readathon, Spoonie Readathon. It's wonderful. I'm gonna obviously have the bingo card here for you to see, but we're gonna go over individually which prompt and what I'll be trying to do for each one if I have an answer. So the first one is to watch a movie or video that features chronic illness or disability, and I haven't picked something exactly for that one yet. I haven't decided, but I'll find something, I'm sure. I do know that The Haunting at Hill House has great migraine rep in it, so I'm thinking of watching that one. Even though I'm not a horror show fan, I really am interested in watching it for the chronic migraine rep, so we'll see if I watch that one. So the next one is to read in a cozy spot, which is super easy to do no matter what. Also, I want to say that every single one of these prompts on this 25 list has a recommendation or 3 or 4 in the blog post, so you can always find a suggestion on her post there. The next one is to revisit a book club book. Now they have a book club, but I'm going to choose a book club book for the Fierce Woman's Book Club, as that I think will work in the situation. And I do need to read the next book for our book club, which is The Road to Freedom by Caroline Clinton. This one is about Harriet Tubman, and I am very interested to read this one. I think she suffered with narcolepsy, and I'm not 100% on that, but I am very excited to learn more about that amazing woman. So the next square is take your book on a date, and the final one is to read a fiction or fantasy book that has chronic illness or disability rep. And I am going to try to read A Curse So Dark and Lonely for this book prompt, but I'm not 100% sure on that. If I get to it, that's great, and if not, I'll be okay with that. Like I said with this, they're nearly just pushing for, I think, exposure to chronic illness in books, and so I'm going to try to read A Curse So Dark and Lonely. And as we go along, I would like to recommend some books that I have found for this, if you would like to. And so one of these would be Mansfield Park, for a fiction book that has chronic illness, as Fanny Price does have a chronic illness of some form, even though they don't label it like that. I would highly recommend this for that prompt. Also, I would like to recommend Wives and Daughters. If you would like to read that big book, there is chronic illness rep in there as well. So the next one is a diagnosis story. So reading a book about that could be nonfiction or fiction. And she has some great recommendations, but I have one book that I'm not sure if it is a diagnosis story or not. However, it is called Autism in Heels by Jennifer Cook O'Toole. And this one is about a woman who has autism. And I don't know too much more about it, but I did purchase it on ebook, and I would imagine it has her diagnosis story in there. So that is a potential for me to read during the course of the month, but I'm not guaranteeing that, but I am interested to try it at least. So the next 2 squares are something you can give or take, which definitely the second one I will take. And the first one is to invite someone to their Chronically Bookish book club. I've invited myself to their Facebook group, which, I mean, I don't know if I'll take part in the reading books, as I already am a part of several book clubs, but at the very least I'll get recommendations. And the next one is to take a nap. So definitely will take a nap. Then after that is a book that benefits your mental health. And that could be any book. It doesn't need to be a book about chronic illness. It could be anything. So I'm gonna go with one that I will definitely be reading. And that is Jewel of the Nile by Tessa Afshar. I don't know anything really about this book. I just know it takes place during the New Testament age or era. And this is about a woman from the land of Kush, and that's all I really know about it. I'm just very excited to read this one. And Tessa Afshar always manages to make me feel happy when I'm reading a book and make me forget reality and just be reading and focused on the book. So this will be very good for my mental health, I am sure. So the next one is a spoonie selfie, and if you don't know what a spoonie is, there is a whole description of what it is in the article. And then after that is Celebrate the American Disorder or Diagnosis, I'm not exactly sure what it is, Association 30th birthday, and there's some suggestions for that as well. Then is to wear a mask, then the free space. So these are all non-reading prompts. Then practice self-advocacy, read while doing something for your health. So this is something where you don't have to pick a book for it. I'll probably just read while relaxing, to be honest. As a lot of things, I don't really want to read while going on a hike or doing anything like that. That won't be very good for my health personally. So we'll see what I do. So the next one is not a reading challenge, which is to practice Hydra Attitude Challenge. I am not exactly clear on what that is yet, but I'm sure I'll look into it more as we get closer to the end of the month, as we go through the challenges. Then the next one is a BIPOC character or author with a chronic ailment or disability. I would highly recommend the Brown Sisters series for this one, but also for this one, I would also recommend Road to Freedom by Caroline Clinton, as Harriet Tubman is a woman of color, and she is definitely a woman who suffered with a chronic illness. So we are killing it with that book. I'm very excited to read that one, and this does not have to be a fictional book. It can just be a woman or a person of color in a book. So very excited about that. The next one is to support a spoonie, so another person with a chronic illness. So the next one is to read a book that has a neurodiverse author or main character. And I'm going with Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. This one is for my book club in real life. We are reading this one, and I've heard that this one has great mental health rep. I'm not really sure what Eleanor Oliphant is diagnosed with, but I have heard that she has some form of maybe OCD or anxiety, something, and it's a really great representation, and I'm very excited for it. I've heard that this book is about Eleanor Oliphant, who has her life in complete order, and yet something throws her life basically into disarray, and it's a very hard time. So I'm very excited to pick up this one. It is kind of thick, but my book club has been loving it so far, and I'm excited to pick it up. And the next one is to discuss a book with a friend. And as we are reading this one for book club, I'll be discussing this with my group of friends at book club, which is perfect. And the next one is to listen to a podcast related to chronic illness or disability. And there are several podcasts listed in the blog post. I haven't picked which one I will listen to yet, but I will find one at the very least. And the next one is to share your story, which I've already done last year. I shared in a very lengthy video, so I will link that if you want to check it out. It was quite a tearjerker for me, but it was very cathartic. The next one is to read a historical book about chronic conditions. So this could be a historical book about a person or about a place or about just a condition and how it was treated, anything about history or like that. So I'll be putting in The Road to Freedom again, as this is perfect. We're talking about history, a historical person. It's very fitting. So I'm very happy to use The Road to Freedom in multiple ways this read-a-thon. The next one is I did my best or did my best prompt, which is just to do your best every day or to do your best on the days you can. And I feel like that is something we all should do, even if your best is just to get out of bed that's good enough. And so that's a great one. And the last one is to have an LGBTQ plus character or author with a chronic illness or disability. And I have just finished reading as of last night when I'm filming this, so this is still within this read-a-thon period, Good Morning Monster by Catherine Gildener, or Gildener. This one is about 5 people who have survived many traumas in their childhood, and one of them is a lesbian who also suffers with dissociative identity disorder, or and she also has anxiety and PTSD, many things, but she is they have many traumas. All of these people in this book have traumas in their lives, and the psychologist who wrote the book all got their consent to write their stories and their permission, and it's just incredible stories about them thriving in their lives and succeeding. But wow, I couldn't put down the book. Really highly recommend it. But yeah, Alana's story in there was really powerful. So yeah, really recommend. And that was definitely one that I think I'll remember for a while. So I'm putting that one in that slot. So I also mentioned the Olympicsathon, which is running the entirety of the actual Olympics, which I am really excited about. I'm a big Olympics fan, even though I'm not a massive sports person. Love the Olympics. So we're gonna go over the 5 main prompts, and then there are bonus prompts, which I'm not sure if I'm gonna complete them all, but I will do my best, as I am a completionist, even though I'm going through a hard time with reading right now. So like I did the last one, I'm gonna kind of double up as much as I can. So the first one is to read a book related to Greece, as the Olympics started in Greece, and I'm going to be reading Love and Olives by Jenna Evans Welch. This one I don't know really anything about, except for it's a YA novel about a girl trying to connect with her father, or she doesn't really want to, but her mother really wants them to. I have loved the other 2 books by Jenna Evans Welch, and I really think I'll enjoy this one. However, it is a lot bigger than the other 2, and I did not expect the size of this. So I'm gonna give it my best shot. I am very excited for this one though, just because of my previous experience with her work. So that's all I need to know, and I'm excited for Love and Olives. This one, in case you didn't know, does take place in Greece, and she is Greek. The next one is to read a book featuring sport. Now for that one, I'm tweaking it a little, or I'm stretching it, shall we say, and I'm going to read a book that is about a competition, being the Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This one is about 2 competing magicians who are trying to, I think, win at the best magic. If I remember right, they had 2 proteges who kind of fall in love over this thing. I'm not sure how much I'm spoiling the storyline, but basically it's a competition of magic, and I think that can count for a sport. If it doesn't, I'm sorry, I'll figure something else out. Let me know down below if you think that doesn't count for sport or not, but I'm kind of counting it. It's actually shorter than I thought it was, which is kind of crazy, because I have read part of this before, but I'll start over. I'm doing this as a buddy read with Antonisha Lachey on Mrs. Moody Reader, her channel. So I'm very excited to pick this one up, and I've heard really amazing things about this book. So yeah, we'll be reading this one. So the next prompt is fire or fire related, and I'm going with Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine, as there are burnt matches on the cover, and I feel like that fits quite appropriately. And I do need to have this read by, I think, the 12th or the 13th, so definitely I'll read it within the time frame before the 8th, and I'm very excited for that one. Then the host country, which is Japan, and I'll be reading Soul Lanterns by Sha Kazuki or Kazuki. This one is about a 2nd generation girl who is going through or talking about the stories from the nuclear bomb that went off, or Hiroshima. From what I understand, yeah, she lives in the Japanese city of Hiroshima, and they are talking about that. It's very short, but all the reviews say it's very powerful and very haunting. So I'm sure it will be an experience. So this is a Japanese book, and it's actually translated into English as of this year. So it's very new, and I'm excited to read it. The last of the first 5 prompts is to read a book with disability rep, and for this one, I'm going with an So Odd a Mixture. This is by Phyllis Ferguson Bottomer, and this one is about autism in Pride and Prejudice, so certain characters who may have autism or be on the autism spectrum. And I am really interested to read this one. However, I am not convinced I will be able to read my other disability books in this time period, so I'm kind of putting this one in here, although if I do get to the other books first, that'll be great. So this one is a very short one, and it's very interesting about Pride and Prejudice, although I am kind of feeling a pull away from Jane Austen right now, so we'll see if I do get to this one. So now onto the bonus prompts, and some of them are a little tricky, and some of them are less appealing than others. One of which is to read a book that has all 5 colors of the flag on the cover, and this is harder than you would think, but I found an Agatha Christie cover that has all 5 colors. And if you just look at the front, it does have yellow and black and green and blue and red. So there are all 5 colors on here. I'm excited to pick up this one and reread an Agatha Christie. I love this story so much, and I have it on audio read by Dan Stevens, so I will be listening to that. But this edition is my official edition into this book. Read-a-thon. The next one is to read 5 translated books, and currently I only have 1 on this TBR, and I'm not going to push it for more, as I'm not going to force myself into things that I am not feeling comfortable with. However, I was thinking about it and I realized that the Bible does count for translations, so I might just read 4 more translated Bible books and have that count. So, because I am a completionist, so I might just do that too. And then that'll be 5 translated books. So there we go. And then the last one is 5 continents. So I have, in this stack, I have Asia, and then I also have England, which is, well, not England, but Europe. And then I also just recently read, because I read Good Morning Monster, within this time frame, that is North America, and I guess that would fit for also disability reps, so that one's kind of completed already. So North America, I am struggling to find a book for South America potentially, but I have read a book which is Dingoes at Dinner Time by Mary Pope Osborne for Australia, so that is technically Oceania. And now I just need to read a book for Africa or for South America. And I have Jewel of the Nile, which takes place in Egypt area, I believe, or maybe not Egypt area. I think I'm forcing a region onto this book that I should not be forcing onto it. But either way, if I find one more book for one of those regions or one of those continents, I'll be okay, or Antarctica. But if I don't, I'm not going to beat myself up over it, because I'll just be happy that I have completed a lot of books for 2 readathons. So for the stack, it's not that bad, and this is considering we have like a month to read them all. We have here a book for Olympicsathon, and then this one is for just for fun, but also for a book club and heavy, and for the Chronically Bookish. I can also switch that out for anything. This one is for Olympics. This one is a buddy read, which I was going to read no matter what, and I'm putting it in for the Olympicsathon. This one's a book club book, and I'm putting in both readathons. This one doesn't really need to happen since Good Morning Monster has rep for many things: depression, anxiety, OCD, dissociative identity disorder, so many things. And this one is for the Olympicsathon, and along with Road to Freedom. So not too bad considering I have until the 19th to read many of these, and then the 8th. So it's about 2 weeks to read the rest. And I do read pretty fast if I can have a good mental health week. Also, Autism and Heals, potentially for up until the 19th. So I think I have a good selection to go off of, and I'm not going to tie myself to any of these books either. If I'm not loving them, I'm just going to put them down and move on, but we'll play it by ear. Also, you should check out TBR Clue, because I have filmed that, and some of these books fit into TBR Clue and some of them did not. So you can see my complete TBR, these plus TBR Clue, for what I'll be reading in August, along with a book that might fit into the Africa prompt, or Africa continent, shall we say. So I hope that you will check out TBR Clue when it comes out next week. Anyways, let me know down in the comments Which ones of these do you think I should read first? Also, if you can think of any books that would be great for Chronically Bookish, I think that'd be awesome to share more titles around, or TV shows and movies that have chronic representation or disability representation. That would be awesome to hear as well, so we can share that love and we can pass that information and everyone can check out those shows or movies. I would love to hear your recommendations down in the comments below. Also, if you would love to like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you are new here, that would be awesome. And I'll see you next time in another video. Bye for now.